Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. Ionis, how are you? Karina, good morning. Okay, so everyone's well. We have got a bunch of news today. We've had some at 1:15 and 1:30 UK time. We've got some coming up at 3 o'clock UK time, and we've got the FOSA meeting minutes at 7 tonight. We'll be done and dusted by then. No trading tomorrow. I'm probably not going to trade Friday either, I think. Hey, Dean, how you doing, bud? I think Friday is going to be a bit of a damp rag, to be honest with you. It's going to be quiet. So I'm probably just going to have a couple of days off anyway. I could do with a break, I think. So not a brilliant day yesterday. Ended up about, I think I was about 470 down on 10 of my accounts. But I did manage to walk away, which is good. So I think I was about 90, 95, 98, just under 100 up on 10 of my accounts and down about 570 on 10 of them. So all in all about 470, which is not the end of the world. 3 trades and I kind of got that back. But I did a little bit of thinking yesterday afternoon. I went out for a walk. And since I've come down from 2 contracts, I'm just taking way too many trades. So I think the reason I came down from 2 to 1 contract was mainly because of the stress, so I could sit in a good trade for the full sort of 2 points, 2.5 points that I go for, because I when I do 2 contracts, I tend to come out for a point. But what I'm actually doing effectively is just taking way more trades and riskier trades. So I'm just going to get back to the good solid trades and then just go for the 8, 10 ticks, something like that, I think. But as frustrating as it was a bit yesterday, there's no desire to continue. There's no desire to take stupid risks. It's gone, which I'm really pleased about. When I was trading, I just thought, "Ooh, how's this going to end?" But no, I didn't even set my streams. I usually set my stream for tomorrow, but I just walked straight away, walked downstairs, had a whiskey, couple of whiskeys, and then just went out for a walk. But no, that desire to want to just do something stupid, all in is just gone. Yes, I was 1-2. Yeah, it wasn't a brilliant day. Hey, Speedy, how you doing, bud? Private Ryan, how are you? K3. Yeah, I know. Even sort of the sort of most well-paid streamer we know, Alpine, I think, was down $19,000 on the day. So my measly amount, I think, wasn't anywhere close to him. But yeah, people, from what I gather, people seem to have a rough day yesterday. I very, just quickly, market has just opened, that bar there, I very nearly took it. It was a fairly, we bounced there a few times, but we're kind of fitted in that range, and you don't know whether it's going to come down, drop below there a couple of ticks and push up, but I control myself. Also, I'm not a fan of taking trades pre-market. They just tend to feel a bit weird. I don't know why. I almost feel like I'm cheating. Does that sound weird? I just closed it early and had a beer. Yeah, it's not worth battling the markets, because you'll win once or twice in 10 times, but the rest of the time, I'd have been starting this morning with only 10 of my accounts and a load of evals, so I just don't want to do any more. I'm sick of putting money in all the time. I've got the ideal opportunity now. So my accounts are down a bit, but fortunately, the ones that were down a bit were the ones that were up. There was, I don't know, there was some around 1,000 and sort of 600, 700 or 800. So I think in my account at the moment, there's, well, it's down a bit. I think about 5,800, so just under 6 grand all in all, which is, it's just one of them things, isn't it? It happens. I should put it on here, really, my balance, shouldn't I? How do I get my balance on here? Don't know if I got the space for it, have I? So I can put my balance on here. Let's have a look. I don't know if I can fit it, in all fairness. Let's have a go. I to remove columns. Count balance. It just fits, doesn't it? You get the idea anyway. Yeah, I can shut that down a bit more, can't you? You can see it says PA anyway, can't you? There we go. Yeah, so they've took a bit of a sting. I mean, that one was just over 1,000. That was my sort of best one, really. But it's just one of them things, isn't it? You get bad days. It's just not worth arguing with the markets. You just get battered. But yeah, there was there's no point worrying about it, is there? You are still positive, so that's good. Yeah, mate, to be honest with you, I'm well past. I think the last time I started panicking and jumping in stupidly and risking accounts was, I think, somewhere around about the middle of March, April, May, June, July. It's 3.5 to 4 months, really. I think it was the end of the first week in March when I had that sort of change. I decided to get that software, that Guardian Angel. Although I never actually bought it. Just the plan to get it was enough to sort of change something in my mind. But it's just one of them days yesterday. I was just quite, I don't know, I was a bit careless. You get days like that, I think, but it's identifying and just try not to get sucked in. As long as you can get away, I think you're okay. It's when you sort of submit to those and just end up if you end up staying and just going crazy, there's only one outcome, really. You'll get away with it once or twice. You're a proper trader then. Well, I would say. Yeah, I kind of think I'm on the right path, but I don't kind of see. What do you consider a proper trader? A trader that can take a bad day and walk away? I suppose it's certainly a better trader, put it that way. But I had a couple of messages yesterday. A few people got battered with software problems with someone messaged me and what happened? I don't know. I haven't had any fingers crossed. Not that I recall any what they call phantom orders. The problem I'm getting is they're closing down in Rhythmic but staying open, just the odd account in the positions tab. And I think what people are doing is they're cancelling the positions tab, which is then open in a trade here. And if they haven't got this in front of them, then they're a little bit unsure what to do. So yeah, it's a bit. It's. I got to say, it's quite stressful at the moment trading. With all these Rhythmic issues. What can you do? I'm also trying to identify some of these gaps in the market as well, what they call fair value gaps. There's one there. The reason I'm trying to identify them is because if we get a pullback that comes into there but doesn't close, I could technically take a lower high. Not that I'm going to, but I'm just trying to identify these areas. If you don't know how to use trade copiers, it's easy to open unexplained orders. Yeah, it certainly is. I think the system's malfunction, but it's the personal lack of knowledge. Yeah, it is. I got to say, since I've had Replicanto, I 100% trust that bit of software. I think it's a fantastic bit of software. Now, I know I originally, going back about a year, I originally had the Apex one, and I just had nothing but trouble with it, but then they updated it. So I'm going to mark this, but not take it if that finishes bearish, because it hasn't filled that gap, in all fairness. I'm just watching a few videos about these this fair value gap. And you can see there's a gap from there where the previous bar to where this bar is. So let's see if it fills that. I'd like it to go up another tick and then come down bearish. As long as it doesn't close. I think the idea is if we get a pullback and it fills that gap and then closes below halfway, that's where people are taking trades. Now that's closed halfway and it's filled that gap. So let's see if this comes bearish. I'm only just going to, this is just something. I'm just watching for now, really. I'm not taking any of them, but I'm just, I hear a lot of people trading this way and they seem to do okay. Karina, they're having issues with the Apex. Is block Discord chat when not answering. Yeah, I have problems with orange orders. Yeah, I think I had an orange order or two yesterday. It is stressful, I gotta say. But we seem to be getting, whether the orange orders, someone did say it may be I think it's more likely going to be Ninja Trader. That gap's filled, but no, I think the theory is it comes in, fills the gap, but then closes below halfway. So theoretically, another tick to fill the gap and then close bearish, then that'd be a trade to take, really. But now it's frozen orders. Is it really? Not Apex. It's rhythmic, yeah. Happens on personal accounts. Seriously? How can it happen on personal accounts if you're not using rhythmic? Are you still using rhythmic on personal accounts? Apex should move away from rhythmic, yeah. I mean, we've had this discussion a few times, haven't we? The thing is, if you sell a product and part of that product, you know, say to traders, there is a second entry short there, and you say to traders that you've got to use this piece of software, they've got to make sure it works, haven't they? There is a second entry short there. Looks like we're having a leg and a leg. When's this news? 20 minutes.
Order submitted.
It's quite a big bar, that is. I don't want to get out there. It has triggered. I like the way we've had this overshoot. No, it's a bit too far from here, really. I prefer this bar to close a bit further up so we got some distance from the bottom. When it's close to the bottom, sometimes it'll have another go. Full CLs, can you not? Have a look. Sorry about that. There you go. That's the one I'm looking at there. It's a lower high. It's also a second entry short. But we've literally touched that and pushed down. I'd much prefer the bottom of that body a little bit further up here. Then I may have a go at it there. It is a second entry short. It is a lower high. We do seem to have this channel. And it looks like we may be having a leg and a leg. But it's just a bit too far for that EMA for me. I'm guessing we're going to have something like that. Also a possible leg down and another leg down. Yeah, that was my concern with that. It may hold because we're at the top of this now, but it's just...
Order cancelled.
I'm just leaving that. Okay, so we got a leg up. We haven't made a new high yet, 2 legs back, but this is clearly ranging. So I'm not getting into a trade here. Yeah, I forgot you can't see that properly since I've moved some stuff around. Yeah, they do, really. The trouble is, I know Apex say they have no control over it, but if it's part of your business, you know, if you're a pub, let's say you're a bar and you sell a beer from some other place, if there's something wrong with a beer, what do? You know, you can't say to the customer, sorry, we don't produce the stuff. You're going to have to go, the barman pours him another beer, don't you? Or gives him his money back or someone else. So you've got to be responsible. And for the most, I think they are. So that's the good thing about them, that if it's a blanket outage. But I'm hearing lots of stories of individuals who are having sort of problems. But it's going to be a headache for Apex as well. They don't want all the hassle, because you can imagine the what's it line, people opening hundreds and hundreds of tickets daily. They've got to sort of pick all those emails up, read them, and respond to them. So it is a ball ache, yeah. But I don't know, what other options have they got? See, there's a nice two legs back there. So we've had a leg up with the break and a new high. We've only had one attempt to go lower, so I prefer another attempt to go lower before I even consider that we may be going higher. So let's have a look. Yeah, but it affects everyone really, and including Apex. It's not something they want to have to deal with day in, day out. Trade of accounts are more stable in my opinion. You can try. To be honest with you, I haven't had a lot of problems with Rhythmic. I get this issue where Rhythmic closes a trade and Ninja open, so that's one issue I have, but I know how to deal with that. And the only other thing is these orange orders that freeze. They worry me a little bit more. But it is just, I mean, trading's stressful enough as it is, isn't it? Without having all these, extra things to think about and worry about. You want to turn up, do your job and go home, don't you? So I would like, after that big push up and a break and a new high, I'd like 2 attempts back, really. I mean, you may consider this one. But I'd like another attempt to come back. There is a possible failure there, but I'd want to trap something really to make it leg and a leg. You'll want a higher lower here, long, to trap some longs. So I'm glad I left that one. It's as far as I'm concerned, it's done its job by pushing down like that. You've got to forget it now, haven't you? I'd want that bar up here, really, and the tail up here, the wick up there, before I even consider that. See, that's a trade I'd have probably had to go at yesterday, but I've had to sort of tighten my belt, so to speak. Trade of yeah. Yeah, it's a shame about that. Some of those accounts got battered yesterday. But you can either argue with the market, in which case 8 or 9 times out of 10 you're going to lose, or you just have to just walk away. It's amazing how different these bars are. Now, there's a quick picture of someone's chart, same as mine, on the Discord. Look at that. I mean, that's about as nice as a second entry long you get. The only thing that keep me out of that is the touches at the top. But as far as a second entry goes, that's about as good as it looks. But we've been up here twice, and earlier on as well, if it counts. But that clearly worked. Yeah, someone else has took it as well. There's another one there. That's a lovely bar, exactly the same as the other one, but mine's not like that. Mine's bloody awful. I'm only assuming that people are using 2 charts. I probably wouldn't have taken that one because of these touches. But if you can get in down here, then I think you got a good chance of getting to the top here. It wasn't the same as mine, is it? Yeah, a lot of people are using 2 charts. There is a... let's have a look. There is a trading section for double chart settings, which I believe Taylor from Top Pick Trading is responsible for. So I'm going to have a look at that later. I mean, if it means you can get an extra couple of trades a week, it's a fair old chunk of change, isn't it? I'm just not sure whether they use that as guidance or they actually trade the best chart. I'm not really sure, but I'll have a look later. But yeah, we've had this big push up, didn't we? I think it was 2 legs. Well, there was a leg and a leg up to about there, I think, yesterday. I got battered yesterday. A lot of people did. Yeah, it was around about here, and then obviously that bit of a sort of a rally late in the day, which we often get, don't we? And a little bit of a pullback. So we've had a couple of pushes up, so we may get a bit of sideways. Oh, that's very tempting. Very tempting.
Order submitted.
That's killed all that liquidity. The only trouble is with that, I'll have to leave that, I think.
Order cancelled.
I love the way it pushes up, clears all liquidity, then comes down bearish. But look at that green bar. So I'm afraid it's going to have to be a lower high for me if that doesn't push up higher. Where's this news? 10 minutes. I keep forgetting about this news. I've got to stop it. I've talked to Taylor about his trades. He trades it separate. So he trades, right, okay, so he trades both charts, whichever one looks the best. Yeah, because... See, I do wonder whether to even bother with this CL and just have 2 ES charts. You know what I mean? Tough one, really. The S chart was quite lucrative initially, but it's not been so much. Yeah, in all honesty, if you haven't got a decent signal bar, because it can be out by a few ticks. So just because you go short here, if the chart's different on another one, it doesn't mean you're not going to get stopped out. So, yeah, I think it makes sense. In fact, I'm going to do a little poll, actually. Let's do a poll to see whether you guys would like me to trade 2 charts or the ES and the CL. Let me see if I can work out how to do this. Hey, Chris, how you doing, mate? Highly recommend the MNQ. Tried it, mate. Oh, micros. No, I haven't done micros. To be honest with you, for a week or so, I had the CL and the NQ, but I seem to get battered by the NQ, to be honest with you. It seems to move very quick, and I think your balls might be bigger than mine, mate, because I found it a bit scary, to be honest with you. CG moves really nice, yeah. To be honest with you, they do have their own slight characteristics, as we know, because there's clearly a difference between the NQ and the ES. You know, I'm assuming you trade them the same or very similar, but this is a little bit more sedentary and you have a little bit more time to think, whereas the NQ moves a little bit more rapidly, and I think that just heightens the senses a bit too much for me. But I do wonder whether to... it's more forgiving, yeah. Trouble is then you've got the crossover, micros on one, minis on the other, and, you know. See if I can do a poll. How do I do a poll? So, how do I do a poll? to do poll. I've done them before. Ah, here we go. Poll. Okay, question. Ah. Oh, shit. Excuse me. 2. I'll get there in the end. Okay, quick poll. Would you like me to trade, number 1, an ES and a CL chart as I am now, or 2 ES charts where I have the 1 EOD selected? Now, if we'd have had one there, we'd have had a trade. So I'll just put that poll out. So I need a yes. There's only a yes or no. Add an option. Add an option. Okay. 4 yes. Yes. Okay, just in case anyone doesn't know, if I go into my settings here, I'll add that option anyway. Sorry, that'll do. Start poll. Does that make sense? Can you see all that? I think it works, doesn't it? Add an option now. I'll bend that one. Why can't I start the poll now? Yes or no? I'll not start poll. Oh, come on. It can't be that hard, can it? Thanks, Edward. Yeah, it's just something I stopped doing. I didn't have any desire to it. In fact, the thought of it made me sick, to be honest with you. Why can I not start this damn poll now? I don't want to add another option. Not the best poll, but there you go. See if it works. Okay. Would you like me to trade one, an ES and a CL chart as I have now, or two ES charts? Why can I not? The damn thing disappeared. Oh, okay. Right, yeah. What it is, basically, if I go into my... If anybody doesn't know, I think some of you know anyway. If I go into this... So if I duplicate windows, so I have two ES windows, if I go in there and deselect break end of day, it makes the chart very slightly different. So just to give you a quick example, I'm looking at a trade that someone took on Thomas Way's Discord, yeah? So can you see this bar here, 2 legs back? That is not a good signal bar. That was... clearly 2 legs back, but look at the difference in the signal bar when you have a different chart. And this signal bar was naff. So by changing the change at end of day, you make this slightly different and you get more opportunities. So it's 50-50 at the moment. 2 AS charts. One for yes. So yes would be for ES and CL, and no. Hold on a minute. I made that very clear. If I would you like trade me one ES, one for yes, 2 for no. So if you want me to do the ES and CL, click yes. And then if you want me to do 2 ES charts, select no. Okay, there's the news. So yeah, one for an ES chart and the CL. So if you want me to continue with this, the ES and the CL, select yes. If you want me to do 2 ES charts with the slight difference in change at end of day, which give you more options. So for instance, I didn't have a signal bar, but a few other traders in the Thomas's Discord did. Clearly nice signal bar. You can see that's bouncing off there. So clearly worked. So by having the 2 charts, you've got the option to trade either one of them. Let's have a look. Second entry, sure, I voted wrong. I misunderstood. 3 chart open CL. It's just I haven't got the space for 3. I wish I did really. I haven't got the space. Trade NQ, but watch yes. I tried NQ, but I just found it moved a bit too quick for me. See, what I know is, hold on, let's see if we get any more. Why not use the day as your main chart? Do you tend to get, see, I don't know whether you tend to get better setups on the deselected one. I think it might be just random. I tell you what, leave things as they are today and tomorrow for the rest of the week. In fact, there's no trading tomorrow. I'll have a word with Taylor and find out whether because if the deselected end of day produce better setups, it wouldn't really make sense, would it? Why would that give you better setups? Which is why he still continues to trade the 2. I'll tell you what, let's just flick onto the change EOD and see what happens, see if there's any different. So if I deselect that and apply, Has it applied yet? Okay, yeah, look at that. Look at that signal bar there, yeah. Beautiful second entry long, nice signal bar. That's what I mean about that. Can you see that? We've got a break, 2 nice legs down. Look at the signal bar compared to the crap I had earlier. I mean, that is about as perfect signal bar as you get, really, almost sat right on top of there. 1 tick higher, and that would have been sort of perfect, but it clearly worked up to the top. If that were a bit higher, my signal bar was up here, I wouldn't have taken it, but you've got plenty of room to the top. So if you go 1 bar above there, even if you go for 6, I mean, look, if you go at the top, I'd go for 6 ticks there. Let's have a channel. There is more to it than just uncheck and break of the day. You have to change the days loaded. Well, put it this way. Me just changing that. So I'll tell you what, let's get another chart up quickly. And make that one a bit smaller. So the smaller chart is the one, my regular chart, okay? So there's the signal bar. There's the signal bar after those 2 legs. So the signal bar is crap. Even if you wanted to take that signal bar, you've got no space to the top. But look at the signal bar. So there's the signal bar there. Look at the signal bar there. It's a world apart, isn't it? 2 nice legs down. It's just crap there. Look at that one. You trigger that one. The trouble is, what I don't understand, if a lot of how trades work is if they trap a trader, there wasn't a short trap there, was there? So, do you know what I mean? That's the bit that sort of confuses me. So it's just one of those things. That was different there. Looks cleaner, less wiki. Took the tick off. 1,000. Took at the tick offset is near 1,000 difference. Yeah, I'll end the poll anyway. It's 50-50 really, in all fairness, so it doesn't really tell me much. Trouble is, so we've got a channel here, so we had that big push up, didn't we? A couple of attempts ago. I'd prefer another clear attempt before we pushed up, but this thing does look like it's going up, doesn't it? So the news is done now anyway. Trouble is, the next trade might not look as good. That's the trouble. Between the 2 charts, if I see it right. I think the possibility of more setups means the chart could also give fail setups also. Depends. Yeah. Trouble is, what do? Do I leave this one on or do the previous one? The tick counter is different. I haven't got a tick counter on there, have I? Oh, sorry, there is. Let's have a look. 508. No, it's not. It's more or less moving the same. Let's see if it finishes at the same time. Yeah, it is. It's working in sync. Yeah, it's still working in sync. See, that one was the same. That was clearly a better one. That was the same. What's different there? Not a lot, really. That's exactly the same. So it's just the odd setup. So just looking at this bit there, there's a failure there, isn't there? Hold on. Sorry, I've just duplicated the damn thing, haven't I? Let's put it back. My mistake. So let's select that. Apply. Yeah, so there's the NAF signal bar. So there's a failure there. 1, 2, 3. There's a failure there. And there isn't a failure. There's the failure there. So it is a bit different, isn't it? Let's just bring it in and have a look. Yeah, see that big strong signal bar there off the key entry point? We haven't got one there. And there's a higher low there. we haven't got one there really, have we? Well, you could consider that one, but always look at a break of structure rather than 1 or 2 ticks higher or lower. For example, I would not consider first entry long if we went above a previous bar by 1 tick. Yeah, it's. I'll tell you what I'll do. For now, we'll just leave it as it is, and I'll have a chat with Taylor, and because he's got a whole section on it, so let's just put that back. Let's just put my select back in. Yeah, see if I quickly look at this. Taylor's got a double chart setting discussion going on down there, explaining how it works. So I'll have a look at that over the next couple of days and see how we get on. And then we'll see if it's worth having up. Trouble is, it's hard to know whether to deselect it or just leave that one. I see the bar size indicator that was beside. Honestly, yeah. Yeah, it's just I don't quite know why it does what it does, but I will have a look on Taylor's thing. So the chart where you uncheck EOD will just have a randomly be bouncing around on a different couple of days. Get offset. Yeah, he's got a big selection on it. I'll have a read of that later, and then we'll make a decision. We'll have a chat about it again on Monday. I'll have a good read of that over the weekend, and then we'll have a chat about it Monday. See if we can get some value out of that. If it's going to give us some more setups, and apparently I spoke to I spoke to Thomas about it, and he said speak to Taylor. He's got a section on it. That's how I knew he had a section on it. He's the kiddie apparently. He's been using it for a while. Yeah. Sam Lou, I think the possibility of more set. Yeah, can give slightly failed thing. I'll find out. I'll have a read of that and get some feedback from Taylor. But from what I can gather, he has 2 charts and trades either one of them, which seems better. Now, I think he's been doing it long enough to know whether it'll work or not. I'll see what I get out of him. And if it's worth doing it, we'll swap it over. Keith, me have a nice day. Yeah, good for you, mate. Have a nice break, bud. Yeah, if anybody doesn't know, well, you US guys should know. Otherwise, you should be ashamed of yourself. 4th of July tomorrow, so no trading tomorrow. I believe the market's open for half day, but it's going to be a waste of time, to be honest with you. I'll be surprised if there's any low volume. And I believe Friday as well. I'm not bothering trading Friday. I'm just going to, I'm starting to realise the value of a couple of days off. It does make a difference to you. So volume will be low. Nothing worse than trading low volume. I hate trading pre-market at the best of times, but when the volume's low, it'd be like watching paint dry. Nothing worse than getting into a trade and being stuck in it for half an hour. Hey Lance, any chance of doing step-by-step guide on rhythmic data connection with Ninja and Replicanto? I'm not the best person for that, in all fairness. Or is it easy to do? Rhythmic data connection. There is videos on the Apex website on how to do it, to be honest with you, mate. I haven't done it for such a long time, so I wouldn't be giving you probably the best, most up-to-date information. But if you go onto the Apex website, there's loads of videos, and I know because they changed something with Rhythmic about 6 months ago, and it was either John Skelton or Daryl Martin which took you through how to set it up. So I'd love to help you, bud, but you'd have a lot better information going directly to the directly to the source. To be honest with you, that looks better to me. Touch, 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 touch. The news shot up, but then we've got a bit of a break, I think. So I'm just, the way I'm looking at it going sideways, I'm just wondering whether we're going to end up just doing something like that. I'll just sit there for the minute. But it certainly could go up after this, but we've had 2 legs up, well, more than 2. It depends whether you draw it from there and there or from there and there, but we've kind of had this area and we're coming up to all-time highs again, so let's just put that there for now. Lock it, extend right. Okay, so all-time highs up here again, so we're having a good old push. See, we could be in just one big channel here, I suppose. Yeah, it's very possible. So we could be in a leg, 2 legs of correction leg, so we could get way up here, really. Who knows? What's the seal giving us? Not a lot, really. It's looking very rangy, I think. There is a lower high there off the tops. See what happens here. One, two. This thing's continuing on up, so a touch there, close enough. For some reason, I trust you and find your voice more calming than most. You need to have a chat with my wife, because she would disagree with you. See, this is interesting. So we've come up here again, and we've got a little double top there. Actually kind of a failure, isn't it? But we've had this strong push above that EMA, so I'm just staying out of this at the moment, because it's a bit unclear. Are we ranging, or are we sort of, you know what I mean? There's always that possibility, push up, a little bit of a pullback and up again. So for me at the moment, I'm not really sure exactly what's going on here. It's initially looking like a range, you know, we bounced there, but I mean, we've just come in really. That's our first, what I would consider, bounce. So we've bounced a second time. So I would prefer that to push below the EMA and give us an offer down there rather. That would tell me at least we've made an attempt to push higher. Excuse me. I'll tell you probably why you might feel like that is because I talk a lot about how difficult I find things. A lot of other people don't really. You know, I'm quite open with my struggles. I just sort of tell you, I'm not as in a YouTuber. I don't make videos. I don't do all that sort of stuff. This for me is sort of mainly therapeutic. It's part therapeutic for me. Gives me a little bit of accountability, and not only that, it's someone once told me, surround yourself with people you want to be like. And I always think if you're trying to learn how to do something, surround yourself with other people in the same boat. You learn better. I still find that the technology blows me away that you can chat with someone on the other side of the world real time. It's still amazing, really. But it's much better to do things. Nothing worse being stuck in a room by yourself. But if you hear about other people and their struggles, you kind of feel like it's not just you, because at some point you do ask yourself the question, is it just me who keeps doing this, or does everybody? And you realise, I was on having a chat on Nutty's stream a few months ago, and I said I just hit the 500 evaluation, and I thought people's faces were going to drop. I thought there was going to be a lot of shock out there, and I had loads of people saying, is that it? Someone had done 1,300. Nutty had done way more than me. There was loads around 600 and 800. So sometimes you do feel all these struggles that you're worse than everybody else, when in reality, you're no different. Everybody finds it difficult. I was watching an older video last night, actually. It just popped up of Al Brooks talking with hair, or a little bit more than he's got now. And it's one of the first things he said: every trader, while they're learning to trade, loses money. That's unless you're lucky enough to get picked up by a big bank, maybe. But it's a fact. You can't learn to trade without losing money. It's just part and parcel of who we are. 500 evaluations, yeah, over 5. Well, I did my last one, I think, a couple of days under a month ago. That was the last one I did, and I think it was around about 560, 562, something like that. But yeah, there was one person on Nutty's stream who'd done over 1,300. There was loads around 600 or 800. I've traded my eval today. I put a buy right above the news, and when the news hit, it filled. I buy at the top. I had to close my It's happened a lot. Yeah, it's a bit hit and miss during the news. I've traded evaluations during the news. In fact, I traded a $250,000 one and it hit it in the news. The trouble is, a lot of people are doing that now, and I think it's upsetting the equilibrium a little bit. And then I think that's probably something to do with things going wrong. But yeah, sometimes things can go wrong. If the quick market moves, the quicker the market moves, sometimes it can be problematic with orders not sitting properly. Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, really, unless you really knew what you're doing, you wouldn't really trade the news, because the trouble is with the news, it's up to date, it's live. No one really knows exactly what's going to happen. There are people out there who have an idea what's likely to happen, who may look at the numbers, but in all truth, you don't know whether it's going to shoot up or shoot down, and that can be quite costly if you don't know what you're doing. Great little tool, though, to pass an evaluation if you want to, but only really for people who can hold positions, can hold PAs, because if you're doing it just to get a PA and you're inexperienced, you're only going to pay for the PA and then ended up losing it. I mean, I've said this before many times, but I'll say it again, while you're learning, never get more than one evaluation, because all you're going to do is throw away multiple amounts of money. Trust me, it's costly to learn to trade, and the more you keep keep a tight rein on the purse strings, the easier you're going to find it. More money you lose, the more frustrating it is. It's probably a lot to do with how much sort of spare capital people have. The guy that originally taught me to trade, Andrew Lockwood, worked for Swiss Bank. He worked for a couple of other big banks as a trader in the London Stock Exchange in the 80s. And he was working for a company in Singapore somewhere. And he started putting all their computer systems together when everything went more computerized in the early 2000s. And he decided to trade for himself. And he was an experienced trader, but when you're starting to read charts, he'd never read charts before, because it was all sort of written down on bits of paper and hand signals and all that. He told me he lost about 150 grand learning to trade again. So the more money you got to lose, the more you tend to lose. But one thing I never did until I got my first payment was have more than one evaluation. And then when I got my first payment, I kind of thought I'd made it as a trader, but it was actually far from the truth. So I started losing a bit more. But if you lose one evaluation, it's not the end of the world. If you lose 10 of them, it stings a little bit more. So, really, if you're learning to trade or you haven't been trading long, just stick to one at a time. And same with the PA account. Just stick to one. Doesn't matter to the markets whether you're trading 1 or 10. But if you're losing one and you copy trading another 9, you just lose a lot. And that is going to sting your pocket. And your wife will hate you. Or your husband will hate you, whichever. I actually kept a lot from my wife. She doesn't know half the truth. She does now, but she didn't. When I kind of stopped revenge trading, I had to tell her, and surprisingly enough, I was expecting her to fall over, but she didn't. She remained upright, so it was all good. I trade my... Yes, all your cash gets scrapped. Yeah, it's problematic. Even trading a live account. In fact, I've not traded a live account during the news, but it's probably unadvisable. I mean, if you got big... There are people who obviously do it, but you'd expect them to be very experienced traders who specialise in that type of trading and have deep pockets. But for the likes of most of us, especially scalping as well, going for small amounts of move. I once saw a 58-point green bar about 12 months ago, so market can shift really quickly. And I think what people tend to forget sometimes is if you put a 2-point stop, that 50-odd point bar, if I put a 2-point stop in here, price moves that quick through that, it might not take you out at 2 points, it could take you out at 6 points or 8 points. So just because your stop's there, if the market does move quick, it can make your loss significantly bigger than the 2 points you may think. So the simple answer is just to stay out of the news. It's just not worth it. just updated their deals. No trailing drawdown, no activation fee, so 80 all in. Yeah, I might have a go at another one, to be honest with you. You can trade, obviously, multiple prop firms, can't you? Don't get me wrong, Apex is my first and foremost. So far, they've never let me down, so I appreciate them for that end of day. So, yeah, so that's useful if you guys want to enter here and you know, a little bit of a pullback doesn't affect your drawdown. But yeah, I may have a go at one at some point and just trade it completely separately from this. So, okay, so it's hard to know what's going on here. So if that's a channel, we've got a bunch of touches down there. Touch, break, a few pushes up, new eye, and this looks like it's pulling back. So whether there's a larger range in play here or not, I'm really not sure, in all fairness. I think I'll have to just leave that there for now until I know what's going on. But we've got a nice tight channel here, so if we can get a couple of legs up and close under here, we may have an option for another leg down. There's been a couple of videos on the details, but they don't appear to have updated the site last time I checked. You're about for my funny features. I've never tried. Well, I tell a lie. I have done others before Apex. I did Earn to Trade. I think I did a couple, and it was a bit more expensive back then as well. I think I paid about £85. I think $85. And I did. In fact, I actually once paid $499 for resetting a PA account. I would not advise you to do that because I lost it pretty much as quick as it took me to pay for it. Right, this has come back too far really to be a larger channel. I just can't see how that would work, mind you. No, that just doesn't work for me. So I don't think there's a bigger channel in play. I think we had that and a push up and a little bit of sideways and a new high and then down. So for me, it's slightly ranging. So I'd like to retest this though before I consider a short. So second entry, pushed above here and then closed below in an ideal world. To update the risk for the accounts. 5 contracts is an aim to complete fewer trades. Are you on about? Did you update the risks for the EA accounts? You mean the ES accounts, or did you grind out with one contract? Are you on about for the PAs I've got now, or for evaluations? Evals. Yeah, I used to do more with evals. See, what I don't want to say to you is if you're newish and you haven't been trading long, don't go for massive contracts and try to pass it quick. You've got to learn to use them to get the experience of the psychological side. But I was stupid. I blew so many trading 10 contracts. Trouble is, you lose a trade or two, 10 contracts, boom, your account's gone. So I would probably say, maximum 5 contracts. But if you're learning, if you've moved on to evaluations from a sim to learn, I'd just stick to 1 contract or 2 contract. When you move from a sim, it's not about trying to make money. It's about moving to that next that next level where you get that psychological input and sort of feeling. You need to experience that. So moving from a sim to evaluations, I wouldn't even consider getting money. I'd try and get money out your head, actually, because it can prolong the agony. Trust me. So just try to get consistent. That's what it's all about, getting consistent. Being able to sit there patiently and pick and choose your trades, 1 to 2 trades a day. And that's all you want to aim for, getting consistent. Try and, put money out your head if you can. And that's the key. Okay, so depending on how you have the top of this range, you could have the top of that range there. In fact, I probably like it better there. Because I like the way that sits on it. So we're just on it there. So what I'll be looking for is a lower high, really. And we've got a really nice channel down there with a clear push up. May go higher, but I'll be looking for a lower high. And if we can get a lower high, I think the chance of us coming down somewhere down here is probably is sort of probable. There may be a bigger channel top here, but just taking that one's risky because it could push up. Well, you could earn a huge amount of money in trading, and if it was really that easy, everyone would be doing it. It really is that hard. It's not unachievable. My belief is if you stick at it, you'll get there. But you are going to go through some rough patches of feeling like crap. It can affect your mood at times. That's my wife. She'll agree with that comment. So, ideally, I'd like a lower high around about here somewhere, a little bit of a pullback, but still under this level. And then I'd expect to get maybe another leg down or as close to. But sometimes it'll do that, mess you around a bit, tease you in, but that's come down a reasonable amount, I think. So if we can get a little bit of a pullback here, maybe nick that again and then finish lower. Yeah, that's what I mean. Sometimes it can look that good and all of a sudden within a second it just completely looks like it's going in the opposite direction. But that might also be a nice option for a trap. I'd like that to finish bullish because if that triggers, then I'd say there's a good chance that's going to come below there. I wouldn't want to go long there. Okay, folks, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. I'm just going to make myself a quick cup of tea, nip to the toilet, and I'll be back in about 3 to 5 minutes. Okie dokie. What are we looking at here? 2 legs up and a bearish bar. We've triggered that long. It is a failure, isn't it? But the trouble is, we've come down that far. Kind of looks like a range again, doesn't it? So we're a bit halfway up. Trouble is, if you went short here, it could trap you. I think the best thing to do is just to sit out of this at the moment, I think. Let's just pull this aside. Just looking at just wondering if this on the CL is some news. Crude oil 330. Yeah, okay. Just all of a sudden we had that couple of spikes. So there was some news there. I got to get that habit. Although it was all medium impact news, but even so, I still need to get into the habit because it's even a medium impact news seems to affect that. I notice TBM. Oh, trades by Matt. There's one contract on NQ. He blew his 20. Yeah, I did hear. Tilted the blows account. Tilted a couple of weeks back and blew 96 grand. I still mighty. Show that much in my account. It took a failure. That one there, yeah. That's part of the reason I looked at that and I thought that looks a bit spiky. Yeah, we had some news. Good on you, mate. 30 ticks, absolutely wonderful. Not a lot of volume today. No, there isn't a little bit. I'm just wondering if people are finishing early. There is volume, but not as much as you'd expect, considering it's flowing. If we're stuck sideways, then, you know, that you can kind of understand why. But yeah, we have got obviously 4th of July, so there's probably going to be traders taking maybe the Wednesday off and the Friday off, and obviously, hey presto, you got a nice long weekend. So, just going to get rid of this. Well, that's a little bit better. Tomorrow's holiday certainly is. Yeah, 4th of July. I believe the market is still open, just for a half a day. But it's just nothing worth taking, really, is there? It's just not worth trading it, to be honest with you. I'd enjoy the day off, especially for you US guys. It's a big holiday for you guys, so I'd get out there and enjoy it with your families. Get the barbie on, drink some beer, put your feet up. Snort some crack cocaine. I don't know what you guys do in your holiday. No, I don't do anything like that. Whatever you guys do for fun. Sorry about that. I don't know where that came out. guns, yeah. I mean, that's what you're lucky in a way. You can go out and do that sort of stuff. You can live your whole life in the UK and never see a gun. I was thinking about having the weekend away, I was. Hard to read, yeah. Loafy, how you doing, mate? It is a little bit, isn't it? It's kind of got a slight upward bias, but not enough to make you think about necessarily taking longs. I think we just got a sideways here, maybe a bit of news, and then it just... I don't know whether there is possibly, by the end of the day, going to be something like that. In fact, if it wasn't for that spike... that actually doesn't look that bad, does it? It's looking more like we've had especially the way we've had quite a few touches there. So I think that is one to watch for. I think it's quite possibly likely. There was a failure there. But trouble is I wasn't sure because of this. There was also a second entry short, so it could have gone either way, really. And it looked like it was coming off the tops. We'd bounce, so you don't know whether we're going to have a couple of attempts up and then down. So it's just a bit... I left that alone, but obviously now we know what happens. It's easy for Mac to mark that, but after a channel down like that and a break, you don't know whether we're going to trap that and come down. Thomas Wade took it. Good on him. My only concern was just this. There's always that possibility. You go long, you get trapped. It's hard to say. It's just one of them things, isn't it? It's just hard to say, but now I can connect the dots. I actually don't think that looks terribly bad. I'm not worried about the spike. That was because of the news. But apart from that, it's looking pretty all right. Not sure yet. Possibly. The reason it makes me think like it is because we've had this big up leg and a couple of attempts to go lower. So I think there's a good chance at least we're going to test these all-time highs. How old was I in that? Oh, that one there. That was probably about 3 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago. That was in the Slug and Lettuce pub. Going down in Winchester. Have a look. Yeah. I had a beer in my hand, didn't I? Yeah. It's unusual for me. So yeah, it was about 3 years ago, that was. In your 20s? No, I was 55 last month. That was about 52. That was after lockdown, that was, because that's the first weekend we went down there. Was that after lockdown? It was a year after lockdown, I think. Or was it a year before lockdown? Might be 5 years ago, bud. Yeah. I think. When was lockdown? It's about 4 years ago, wasn't it? Yeah. It's about 5 years ago, that was. 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. Let's see if I can find a recent photo. Just trying to find a recent one. I take a lot of photos nowadays. That was me about 2 years ago, summer before last, after a few beers. Yeah, I think that was my mum's 72nd birthday. She was, yeah, so that was about 2 years ago. I'd had one or two there, put it that way. I think I'd had a bottle of wine and a few beers, I think, actually. British pub name, yeah. It's a bit, isn't it? Yeah. The thumbnail. Yeah. I was just trying to show you something a little bit more recent. Yeah, I think that was about it might have been just after lockdown. I think it was a year after lockdown. They opened the bars and the pubs, didn't they? And we went back in. So I think it was about 4 years old, that was. Such a British name. Yeah, the King's Head, yeah. I used to work in that pub years ago as a chef. That's what I did when I left school. I went to college. Became a chef. I did that for about 10, 12 years. So you're from France, aren't you, Thomas? I spent a bit of time working in France as well. I was there. I was in Val d'Isère for about 2.5 months, something like that. I worked in a hotel there. I can't for the life of me remember what it was called. It was about 23, something like that. Nice, France. Yeah, it's nice, France, I've got to say. I have a friend who lives in France, Steve. He was a winchman in a search and rescue. Originally in the RAF, a winchman in a search and rescue. in Scotland, worked in the mountains and around the coast in Scotland, and then moved out, retired early, and then moved out to France. Am I still? No. I gave that up, bud. I gave that up. I really came out of that when I started trading. I think what I used to do is work till about 4:30 for the first sort of 6 months. The beauty is, obviously in the UK, trade up to about 9:30, so I'd work it the day and then come and spend about 3 or 4 hours on the charts. But then I realised I wanted to do this full time, so I kind of got into driving, then HGV driving, because there was a massive cry out for it in the UK, something I'd done years ago in between jobs. And it just allowed me to pick and choose my hours and work it around trading. Trading was the thing I wanted to do. But I also worked as a dent guy, taking dents out of car panels for a while. Did that for a few years. I know probably you US guys will be a bit more familiar with that. It's still relatively new in this country. Not as many people doing it, but it's yeah, I did that for a while. That was good money at the time. When I first started, I was earning stupid money. The odd occasion, I was earning £1,500 a week, from time to time there. It was really good money, that was, but now there's hundreds of people doing it. Yeah. I was doing lots of taking dents or removing dents from hail-damaged cars, and we were earning stupid money doing that. But like anything, when there's loads of money, every man and his dog wants to do it, and that sort of floods the market. When did I start that? Around about 2005, I think. My first year after all overheads, I earned about 60 grand, which back then, it was about 19 years ago, was a fair old chunk of change. But I've never liked working for other people. Yeah, it was a nice job, actually. I liked it. Great bit of banter on site. And I worked on a site just, it was literally about a mile and a half from my front door. And we started at 8, finished at 4. But yeah, it was an enjoyable job. But the trouble is in the UK, I mean, we're not known for our weather, are we? Or lack of it. And that's the problem. And that's interesting. We've had a break here. Let's see if we... But yeah, you're just constantly missing work because of weather. It's just a bit of a ball ache. And then when I started trading, I had to change it so I could fit work. It was about fitting a job around my trading, really. But yeah, you guys call them masons, we just call them bricklayers or brickies. But that was pretty alright money. I mean, I think the going rate at the moment is around about £250 a day, which is what's that, $300, something like that. Which is not bad. It's not a difficult job. Takes a bit of time to learn it. There is a second entry long there. That is very tempting, but we've just come off these highs. So it's very tempting, that is.
Order submitted.
I just go into the highs, isn't it? That's the problem. There's just no space. There's no room. No, it's tempting, but in all good conscience, it's risky because of all this support over here. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a trap. But it is still kind of going up. But unfortunately, this time I'm just going to have to stay out of it. I'm not massively convinced this channel's right, but that to me looks like a trap. Not even sure what to think of this uptrend or not, so... I mean, it is 2 legs down. The only trouble is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look how many times we've been rejected off that line.
Order submitted.
Sod that. Oh, it's 12 ticks. It's not massive, but it's just too far, to be fair.
Order
It's come
cancelled.
down too far. I think off that engulfing would have been the best option. But I'm still not sure whether we're going to go up here, so we could still bounce. Let's see if it reacts to here. Hey lads, just a quick question. When you take a payout through Apex, take the 2,000, when they pay you out, do you transfer it from dollars? They actually transfer it into pounds into your account, mate. Yeah, it's about 1,600. They transfer it. There's no charges. Let me think. I have mine paid into my Revolut account, mate, because I know if it goes into dollars, I can change it. But it goes in. Does it go in dollars? I can't remember. My advice to you, bud, is to open a Revolut account. You can have the free package, no issues, and then just get it transferred into there, because you can have it transferred into pounds or dollars. So I can't think off the top of my head. Let me just have a look. When it goes in pounds or dollars, because then I usually change it, or I used to. Let me have a quick look. But you can open a Revolut account online in 5 minutes, mate. I can't remember whether it goes in pounds or whether it goes in dollars. Can't remember, mate, but it's no issues anyway. So that's what I would do if I was you. So open up your Revolut account, and then all I do then is just send it to from my Revolut account to my Barclays. So it goes into my Revolut account, and then whether I change it from dollars to pounds, I can't remember, or it goes in pounds. But you don't lose anything. Put it that way. They're good plain. And then when you've opened that, go into your plain account and just put in what details of a bank you want plain to pay for it. And that'll sort it. But yeah, it's about 1,600 quid, something like that. I'm not sure what the exchange rate is at the moment, but yeah, I'm starting to think more and more this may be a larger channel. It's hard to say. So there was like a double trap there. So that second entry long triggered and trapped. Failure, triggered and trapped. I had a feeling I couldn't take that one in my own good conscience, because I can see what's going on here. Now, it could well come back to here, but you've got to give it the benefit of the doubt that it may turn at that line, and that bar was just too large. So you got trapped and then taken straight out. So it was a bit of a double trap there, which is a bit frustrating, isn't it? Not trading related. I am heading to France in the fall for a few months. Is it worth opening a Revolut account? Yes, mate, absolutely. That's what they're designed for. Because with a Revolut account, you can change your own currency. I'm assuming it might be dollars into it's euros in France, isn't it? So you can change it into any currency you like. The normal standard account, I think you're limited to maybe only $1,000 or $3,000, and you can only do it Monday to Friday. If you do it over the weekend, you get charged a bit of commission. But if you pay for the £9.99 Steel card, you've got unlimited. But check that out. I'm pretty sure you're limited to 2,000 on the standard account that's free. But yeah, you can go into it and just exchange it, and it'll exchange for you at the current market rate. So absolutely Absolutely, the best way of doing it. That's the beauty of a lot of these online banks. They're going to put the likes of Barclays out the commission in it, unless they start doing something. Because me and my wife use we use Monzo as an account. There are loads of different bits and pieces you can use in it to save money. You can have separate pots where it'll save money. We have roundup, so every time we spend something, it rounds it up to the nearest pound and sets it in another account, and we keep that for Christmas and stuff like that. But there's loads of things that you get with these online accounts, and you got the same, you got the same safety and backing as the normal regular banks, but they're much better value. So yeah, I like Revolut, really good. You're welcome, mate. Yeah, Revolut's brilliant. As soon as I get paid with this, I put it into my account. It takes about 3 seconds. Goes into my Barclays account from Revolut, where all my bills and mortgage and all that tend to come out. So that bounce there tells me that this is likely part of the reason I like it, because it's like a two-tiered channel. That's working on that midline really beautifully. And then we've bounced here. And we've pushed up, we've had a break, we've made 2 attempts to go higher, we've come down, bounced. So we've trapped the longs, triggered them out, sly that is. It's just too risky going there, it's asking for trouble, that is. So we've triggered there, and then we've had a bearish bar, which is a failure. There's going to be traders in there thinking we're coming down the bottom now. And then that triggered, so it's useful to have that there, because that is obviously done that, really, in my opinion, because of this. It's come down there, a tick or so from there, it's turned. How long have I been trading for? 4 years, sort of November time. I think it'll be 4 years this year. I started sort of looking into it. It was just before Christmas, I think. Because my wife got me a couple of trading books for Christmas. So yeah, it's just over 3.5 years, I think. And I feel over the last sort of 3 to 4 months, things are changing for me now. I still have my off days, but I don't revenge trade anymore, which is an absolute godsend, because there's nothing worse than that uncontrollable urge to jump in mindlessly, random, for way too many contracts and blowing accounts 8 times out of 10. It's a horrible, sickening feeling I don't want ever have to ever have again. And I kind of think I can control myself, but it's weird when you hear about Matt, who also makes quite a bit of money, actually blew all his accounts. I can't understand. Well, I really can't see how the hell I would do that again. But he said he had about 3 bad days in a row. But I think I've realised that coming back in and trading randomly just does not work. It's never going to work. You'll get away with it once in a blue moon, but you can't base being a trader on being lucky 20% of the time. It just doesn't work. Well, that was very sus. You think so? Well, like I just said, I can't understand how someone like Matt, who's made, 200,000-300,000, something like that of trading, which is a shed load more than I have. How the hell could you get to make that money and still jump in and revenge trade? But perhaps people still do. Perhaps people still have, weaknesses. I was watching him live and he did a good trade and then said that was it for the day. Yeah. I know I've watched a few of those, is it I-Man or E-Man videos? And he mentioned Matt in one of his videos that he was trading on a sim or something. I don't know how true it is. You hear these stories, don't you? I tend to take it with a pinch of salt. You don't know how true stuff is. You don't know what people say for views or whatever, do you? As I say, I'm not really a YouTuber. I don't, I never make videos or anything. I just tend to copy myself trading, really. That's it. But So you don't know, do you? You hear all these stories about these large amounts of money flying around, but how true is it all? I mean, what I will say, from what I saw about Alpine, before Apex started playing those rules, that guy seemed to be, he couldn't seem to lose. I don't know how many times I saw him green over all his accounts as soon as the market opened. He nailed that, and then as soon as he started having to use a stop, he has a lot more down days now, but to be able to trade that well, I think, especially, the way he does it with leaving his sort of stop open to the elements, I thought was pretty special. And then obviously they made him trade, but then you don't know, do you? Why hasn't he gone to some of the other, well, mind you can't have 20 accounts with some of the prop firms, so, but then that E-Man did stuff about, who's the other guy, the ginger-haired guy, Welland, Patrick Wheeland or Welland. He did stuff about him, so I was thinking, oh, please. I was just watching these videos, please don't say my name. I think part of the reason, I just put that on earlier just to show people, but I'm going to leave that on here, my balance every day, so people can see what I finish at the end of the day and what I start with the following day. Because the last thing I want to do is end up on that E-Man site saying I'm going away doing this, that and the other. I think Alpine likes it, but yeah, it is. It's because of the 20 accounts. I think, is it 4 or 5 with Top Step? I think that's probably about maximum, isn't it? Yeah, 20 accounts is a game changer, isn't it? Five, yeah. I like Apex. I know they've had a little bit of a struggle lately, but I just think that's part of business. Not every year's smooth, is it? They've had a bit of a backlash from a few YouTube people, but I don't think it'll affect them. Like I say, as long as you're following the rules and you're playing the game properly, then they're not going to mess you around. They wouldn't last long as a business if they did. I understand them following the rules, because if they're paying a lot of money out for people who are breaking the rules, they're kind of crazy to do that anyway. But I also understand if you got stung, you're probably a little bit sore because you're thinking, well, you haven't done it up to now, why do it? But just because they haven't done it doesn't mean they couldn't. Certainly a couple of my early payments were very questionable, put it that way. I tend to revenge trade, and I definitely got lucky on a few of them. So I can consider myself fortunate that they've paid me. But they have had a bit of a sore time, especially with all this. They're getting a lot of cop for this rhythmic, so it's bound to piss them off as well. Can you imagine how many messages they're having to sift through every single day? I just hope they find a cure for all these problems. Make everyone's life easier, including theirs. I watched Matt a few years before he got on prop firms. His trades were horrendous. You want to see some of my early ones? All of a sudden he made hundreds of thousands. Yeah, it's hard to say, isn't it? But then if you look back on some of Alpine's old videos, he was making 2, 4, 6,000 maybe some months. So I think at some point, for me, when you get rid of the psychological battle, I think things get better. Now, I've had a few hiccups because I've been torn between trading 2 contracts and 1 contract. But I think when I kind of find my balance, and not only that, if you can get those accounts up to a nice healthy amount, you will relax, because you'll realise 2, 3, 4 trades in a row ain't going to affect things at all. You're still going to be looking at monthly payment. So, I mean, truthfully, you never really know, do you? But obviously, you certainly expect people to get better with time. If you look back at some of my earlier trades, that might make your jaw open, your jaw drop. But yeah, I think if everyone that continues to do this certainly gets better. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, you never quite know, do you? How often would you say you take payouts? Not as often as I'd like, mate. I've had 8,000 this year. 6,000. I've had 6,000 this year so far. 2,000 payments. I could have taken a bit more, but I didn't. But in all honesty, I've had these accounts between 3 months now and a month, and I've had a few losses in them, but I've managed to hold it together. So I'm kind of taking things a bit slower, which is why it's taken a while. But the plan for me is I don't want to go through all these having to get 20 again. It's an absolute ball ache. When you got them, you really want to keep them. So my plan is to get each account to $3,000 and then take a payment of $500 from each account. So the plan is every month is to try, in an ideal world, and get paid $500 a month. So if all I really need to do is make $500 per month. Now, I think I should comfortably be able to do that. So whatever else is left over there will continue to grow that account. And once it reaches a certain level, then I may take a bit more. But 20 accounts, $500, it's $10,000 a month. It's a fair old chunk of money for working 3 hours a day. And then obviously as anything above there will be a bonus and we'll continue to grow the accounts. But after having these now for a while, and I've took a couple of payments out of 2 of them, and how much you tend to protect them, I really don't want to go through. I don't want to get account to 26, take it, lose it again. I don't want all that hassle. I just want to turn up every day and not have to pay any money. The beauty about having 20 accounts is I haven't paid a single penny to Apex now for a month. And before that, it was probably costing me about 400, something like that. 400 or 500, 2 or 3 PAs and a bunch of evaluations, at least maybe. So it's kind of refreshing not to have a. I'm surprised my bank hasn't phoned me and asked me what the hell's going on. So this now is starting to look like maybe it is a channel. I actually like that, the way that's strapped on and pushed up. It's not really a second entry as such, is it? But it's 1, 2 legs down, and it's trapped that big bearish bar. So I actually kind of like that. Let's get rid of that now, I think. So, we are continuing on up, aren't we? Be interested to see what happens when we get to this. It's like a big bowl, isn't it? What do they call it? A cup and saucer when you get like a ring on here. So that actually is a nice trade, actually. It was just a tick or two off that bottom, but so this is interesting. We've had this channel on a break and an attempt to make a new low. We've had a couple legs up and we've bounced off here. So this to me is looking like a range. We broke out the top and had the opposite one here. So it'd be interesting to see if we bounce a few times here to go long. That's kind of a nice looking channel there with a break. Oh. What do I think? What do I think of what, mate? What have I missed? What do I think? What did you say? That's what I would. What that's his saying. What have I missed? What if you save so much money in your account, like 7,000? Trouble is, mate, it's probably going to take about 25 years to get up there at this rate. 20 accounts, 140,000, then company goes bankrupt. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just those what ifs that scare you a little bit. Market's closing at 5:15 today, Lance. Is it really? That's normal time, isn't it? That is. When you say 5:15, you mean standard Eastern time, yeah? Which would be normal time for me. I'll be done well before then. Oh, is it really? Is it really? Are you sure? So what is it? 12:15. Is it really? Is it not? I don't know. I think it's normal time today, bud. Half day, is it? Considering there's quite a bit of volume around, I'm surprised. It's Mac mentioned it, did he? 1:15 New York time. That would be 6:15. It says on Apex Discord. Is it really? Oh, okay. I didn't realise. I thought it was normal time today. Half day tomorrow. Okay. Might be different, but I doubt it. Close early today. Okay. Maybe it is. Easter time, New York. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, you're right. Interesting. So, 1:15, that will be 6:15 UK time. It's 4:30 now, so we got about... what I'm going to do then is just do a half an hour. Well, yeah, I've just asked on Thomas's website, and two people have just put, yeah, it is, and someone's put 1:15, and Karina, you put 1:15, and NC has as well. So, yeah, I'll take your word for it. So, we are 5 hours ahead, so 6:15 UK time, so I'm just going to do it on my normal time, about 5, I think, tomorrow closes. Yeah, I'm not going to bother tomorrow, it'll be dead. In fact, Yeah, someone did say it's low volume today. There is actually a bit, but it's definitely slower, isn't it? And it's acting very neatly, I've got to say, considering. Yeah, 12:15. You think? Yeah. Okay, so that'll be 5:15 UK time. So it may slow up soon. There is a higher low there. Very tempted to take that.
Order submitted.
It's gone a bit further than I would have wanted. Like how it's bounced off here, so that's frustrating. Look at that. It knows exactly where I am. God, that's so annoying. Look at that. Just going to give that an extra tick.
Order
See if
filled.
it's took me out too late. God, that's annoying. Look at that. It takes me in and comes straight down and stops me out. God, that's annoying. And I've still got counts open here. Look. Leg and a leg. That's annoying. I'm going to have to That's so annoying. Disconnect. And then connect. Look at that. How annoying is that? Look, I jump in there, it triggers me, comes straight down, stops me out. God, it's so annoying, that is. Yeah, I've just done this. They're not actually, they're closed. You can see them on here. God, that's so annoying. One, two, three. Triple test. P&L column. That one there. It's just the thickness of it, isn't it? That's all. There we go. Sorted. P&L column. Yeah, I have done. Yeah. And the CL chart. That's the CL chart. There's nothing in there at the moment. I only traded half of them for the, just in case something goes wrong. Tick chart. I'm not sure what you mean, bud. Tick chart. Oh, I see. Sorry, my mistake. Sorry. I got you. Sorry about that. Yeah, I got you. Sorry. Yeah, that's the one I went for, the higher low. We had this channel here. Break, came down in and retested and bounced off here. It was actually a failure. That broke liar. There was a failure, I thought. Second entry short. It's going to trap some shorts. And I took it there and it went up a little bit and came down. Maybe there's something like that. It's kind of a triple test, isn't it? We've cleaned that up. The trouble is this working down? That's the trouble. So, oh, that's frustrating, isn't it? This thing's not even... Oh, it is. Hmm. Yeah, it's starting to look like it, isn't it? There is a failure there, isn't there? Trouble is, we've had this leg down with a break. And there's still some space down here, really, which you could come to, so... Second entry short there. Leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. This looks like a second leg down.
Order submitted.
Leg in the leg. See how this finishes. Leg, 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 leg.
Order cancelled.
There's a high low there, but the trouble is we got a leg down here with 2 attempts. We could come down for another leg, so I just won't want to get into a long here. It's like a leg, 2 attempts to go higher. I think there's a good chance we're going to come down here for a bit. Still think it's risky. It's not forming right anyway, is it? I don't think. There's a triple test there. Leg down. 1, 2, 3 attempts. Where did you get those time zone widgets? Oh, those? I think they're about £1.50, I think. They're called desktop clock, so just Google it. Desktop clock time zone widgets. I think they're about less than £2, I think. So they're pretty cheap. You're welcome, mate. You're welcome. This thing looks like it's about to flush down, doesn't it, to me? Mm. Yeah, you too, bud. You too. I'm going to be done soon. What time is it now? 10 more minutes, I think, and that's me sorted. Everything's really slowing down, isn't it? That's it for me, folks. I'm done. Everything's slowing right down now. You could end up taking a train and getting stuck in. So, happy 4th of July for you US guys tomorrow. So I'll be back. It's no point in trading Friday. It's going to be absolutely dead. So I'm just going to enjoy the next few days off. So have a great holiday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. And I will see you all on Monday. Bye for now.